Welcome back to WION World is One. You're watching Speed News with me, Vidur Kathuria. Let's get started. US President Donald Trump has delivered his longest ever annual State of the Union address to the Congress. This is the first State of the Union speech of Trump's second term. In his speech, Trump highlighted the economic gains under his leadership alongside listing immigration, enforcement and border security as key priorities. He also made big claims on ending 8 wars, including the one between India and Pakistan. Meanwhile, opinion polls suggest the Trump administration has been getting low approval ratings amid setbacks over his tariff policy. US President Donald Trump reiterated his claim of ending 8 global conflicts during his first 10 months in office. This includes the India-Pakistan war following the Pahalgam terror attack last year. Trump also claimed the conflict would have escalated into a nuclear war unless for his intervention. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has declared that a deal to avoid a military clash with the United States is within reach. This ahead of the resumption of talks between the two countries in Geneva. In a social media post, Araghchi vowed Iran will under no circumstances ever develop a nuclear weapon, but insisted on the country's right to harness dividends of peaceful nuclear technology. The talks will be held following a heavy US military deployment in the region in recent weeks and threats by President Donald Trump of a strike on Iran if no deal is reached. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on a 2-day visit to Israel, marking his second visit to the country. During his visit, PM Modi will meet Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Both the leaders will review the significant progress made in India-Israel strategic partnership and discuss further opportunities in various areas of cooperation, including science and technology, innovation, defense and security, agriculture, water management, trade and economy, and people-to-people exchanges. The leaders are also expected to exchange perspectives on regional and global issues of mutual interest. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has landed in Beijing as part of his first visit to China since taking office. The 2-day trip comes as European leaders seek to reset ties with Beijing amid US tensions, emphasizing fair competition and jointly agreed rules. German economic interests are on top of the agenda, which also features Beijing's relationships with Moscow and Europe. Iran is quickly shoring up its naval warfare capabilities. The country is close to finalizing a missile deal with China. According to reports, Tehran is fast-tracking purchase of China's CM-302 anti-ship cruise missile system. The move could shift the military balance in the Persian Gulf, where US warships are positioned at a striking distance. While a delivery date has not been set, officials say the talks are in their final stages. The deal comes at a time when US has deployed a powerful naval force near Iranian shores. The Russia-Ukraine war has entered its 5th year after Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called the war a stain on our collective conscience and reiterated calls for an immediate ceasefire. He also commended the efforts of the US and others to end the war, but said concrete measures were needed to de-escalate and create space for diplomacy. He said more than 15,000 civilians had been killed in Ukraine since the start of the war and over 41,000 hurt. Among them were over 3,000 children. Meanwhile, many across the world protested against Russia on the anniversary. Pakistan has accused Afghan Taliban forces of opening unprovoked fire along their shared border and warned that any further aggression would draw a swift response. The latest exchange comes amid sharply rising tensions between the two neighbors following Pakistan's weekend strikes, targeting what it described as Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan and Daesh militant camps inside Afghanistan. Kabul said the strikes killed civilians and condemned them as violations of its sovereignty, vowing to respond. The United Nations has said thousands of people continue to flee to Sudan for neighboring Chad in early 2026 as the brutal ongoing conflict between the Sudanese armed forces and the Rapid Support Forces intensifies. This has prompted the UN to raise alarm over a worsening, underfunded humanitarian crisis. A Utah judge rejected a bid by lawyers for the alleged killer of conservative activist Charlie Kirk to disqualify a team of prosecutors that included a lawyer whose daughter had witnessed the killing as the victim spoke on a stage. The decision by the district court judge was a response to a challenge by defense lawyers for Tyler Robinson, who contended prosecutors from the Utah County Attorney's Office had a conflict of interest due to the presence of the 18-year-old daughter of a senior attorney at Kirk's September 10th murder. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese was evacuated from his residence in Canberra following a security threat and returned a few hours later after nothing suspicious was found. Police said they had responded to an alleged security incident without giving more details on the nature of the incident. The scandal surrounding sex offender Jeffrey Epstein has widened. British government has agreed to release official documents about ex-Prince Andrew and his past role as a trade envoy after a veteran UK politician linked to the case was arrested. Pressure is mounting on Prime Minister Keir Starmer to publish documents related to Andrew and former UK Ambassador Peter Mandelson, both of whom are under police scrutiny. Meanwhile, Democrats have invited Epstein survivors to US President Donald Trump's State of the Union address, where they will pose their concerns. "15 Democratic-run US states announced they are suing President Donald Trump's administration over its reduction in the number of recommended childhood vaccines, which they criticize as unscientific. Approved by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the reform shifts 7 vaccines previously recommended for all Americans to being recommended only for those at particular risk, including shots that immunize against influenza, hepatitis A and B, and COVID-19, among others. The military spokesperson for the M23 rebel group was killed in an army drone strike in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. 2 senior rebel officials, a regional diplomat and a Western advisor to the government, said. The attack happened near Rubaya and came after several days of sustained drone attacks on the area by the Congolese army. Rubaya is a strategic coltan mining hub that produces around 15% of the world's supply, making it a key financial stronghold for the M23 rebels. The Congolese government recently added the site to a short list of strategic mining assets being offered to the United States under a minerals cooperation framework. Senegal's Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko pushed for a draft law that would double the maximum prison term from 5 to 10 years for same-sex practices and other conduct deemed unnatural in the country as part of a wider crackdown on LGBTQ people. During his speech to the National Assembly, Sonko said the law would apply to all sexual acts between two people of the same sex, and the maximum prison sentence would be applied to any act committed with a person under the age of 21. Those found guilty could also face fines. Sonko called on lawmakers of all parties to support the law and blamed the West for promoting support for LGBTQ rights and communities in Senegal. The streets of Moscow were blanketed with heavy snow on the 4th anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. European leaders vowed not to abandon Ukraine as the war entered a 5th year. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, facing mounting US pressure to secure a peace deal, has repeatedly urged Kyiv's allies to tighten sanctions on Moscow and send more weapons as Russian President Vladimir Putin shows no signs of ending his war. Rescue teams in southeastern Brazil retrieved bodies from debris and thick mud after a landslide triggered by heavy rains killed at least 18 in the city of Juiz de Fora. At least 25 people died after heavy rains hit Brazil's southeastern state of Minas Gerais, while 43 people were missing. The state fire department confirmed these deaths and 7 in Uba, about 110 kilometers away. Those conducting rescue operations say the scale of the tragedy impacted the operations. Eyewitnesses footage shows dozens of people throwing snowballs at NYPD vehicles in Central Park as New Yorkers ventured outside during a powerful winter storm that blanketed much of the US Northeast. The blizzard dropped more than a foot of snow across parts of the region, bringing travel to a near standstill for millions of residents as hazardous conditions closed roads, shut train service, and forced the cancellation of about 5,700 flights. Thousands of homes and businesses were left without power, with officials urging residents to stay off the roads so emergency crews could clear streets. China's ratoon rice technology is being applied to lift yields and enhance food security in Malaysia, unlocking new potential for tropical farming. In Malaysia, despite its fertile tropical landscape, the country produces only around 2/3 of the rice it needs. Cooperation with Chinese teams is supporting the country's push for greater food self-reliance. Ratooning is the agricultural practice of harvesting a monocot crop by cutting most of the above-ground portion but leaving the roots, so that from that stubble the plants can recover and produce a fresh crop in the next season. Asian markets climbed on Wednesday, led by strong gains in chip makers as optimism around artificial intelligence continued to power investor sentiment. Japan's Nikkei hit a fresh record high, while South Korea's Kospi surged past the 6,000 mark for the first time. The global memory chip shortage has fueled sharp rallies in South Korean technology, with investors also watching Nvidia's earnings later on Wednesday. Meanwhile, markets remain cautious of President Donald Trump's State of the Union address, which happened earlier today, with traders looking for signals on trade, economic policy, and global tensions. Oil prices are hovering near 7-month highs as investors weigh rising tensions in West Asia ahead of fresh US-Iran talks in Geneva. Brent crude is trading at nearly $71.5 a barrel, while US crude is holding above $66. Markets remain concerned that any escalation could disrupt supply from Iran, a key OPEC producer. President Donald Trump outlined his strategy in his State of the Union address. Meanwhile, traders are also watching US inventory data after reports showed a sharp build in crude stockpiles last week. Gold prices moved higher in Asian trade as investors sought safe haven assets amid renewed uncertainty over US tariffs. Spot gold rose about 0.5% to trade near $5,200 an ounce, rebounding after a sharp pullback in the previous session. The gains follow confusion over trade policy after the US Supreme Court struck down several tariff measures linked to President Donald Trump. Markets are also watching Federal Reserve signals with expectations for multiple rate cuts this year. Meanwhile, geopolitical tensions, including upcoming US-Iran talks, are adding to bullion's appeal. Britain has announced plans to bring streaming giants under the same rulebook as traditional broadcasters in a major media regulation shakeup. Platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime Video and Disney Plus will be required to follow content and accessibility codes similar to public broadcasters such as the BBC. The government says two-thirds of UK households now subscribe to at least one streaming service, with 85% using on-demand platforms every month, outpacing live TV viewership. The new framework will place streamers with more than 500,000 UK users under the Ofcom broadcasting code. US tech major Google has signed a 20-year power agreement with AES to support a new data center in Texas. The deal includes co-located energy generation to meet surging demand driven by AI-led computing needs. Google said adding clean power alongside the facility will reduce pressure on the local grid. The move also aims to keep energy costs stable as data center expansion accelerates. The project highlights how hyperscalers are locking in long-term power to scale cloud and AI infrastructure. Waymo is opening its robotaxi service to the public in Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and Orlando as it accelerates US expansion. Select users with the app will get invites first, with access expanding in phases to all riders. Weekly rides have doubled from about 200,000 last year to more than 400,000, with a target of 1 million rides per week. The company currently operates a fleet of around 3,000 driverless vehicles, set to grow as new cities come online. The expansion comes amid safety scrutiny but backed by fresh funding and plans for launches in more than 20 cities. Italy's privacy watchdog has ordered Amazon to stop using personal data of over 1,800 warehouse workers. The action targets Amazon Italia Logistica's facility near Rome after a regulatory inspection. Authorities also blocked data collection from cameras installed near bathrooms and break areas. The regulator said the company stored sensitive details including health status, union activity, and family issues. The ban covers information kept for up to 10 years, with further violations now under probe. A US federal judge has thrown out a lawsuit by XAI against OpenAI. The case accused the firm, led by Sam Altman, of stealing confidential code via former employees. Judge Rita Lynn said the complaint failed to show any misconduct by OpenAI. The court noted there was no proof the company induced staff to take trade secrets. XAI has been given time until March 17th to refile an amending case. The ruling marks the latest flashpoint in Elon Musk's broader legal battle with the ChatGPT maker. Musk is also suing OpenAI and Microsoft over its for-profit shift, seeking billions in damages. England have become the first team to qualify for the T20 World Cup semi-finals. Pakistan won the toss and opted to bat first. Pakistan made 164 for 9 in their allotted 20 overs. Opener Saibzada Farhan scored 63 off 45 balls, but nobody else scored more than 25 runs. Shaheen Shah Afridi gave Pakistan the perfect start with the ball, and England was soon reduced to 35 for 3. However, captain Harry Brook came to the side's rescue. Having promoted himself to number 3 for the first time in T20 eyes, he scored 100 off 50 balls, lifting England to 166 for 8 in 19.1 overs for its second successive Super 8 victory.